Show, Bam Show.
Hey, welcome to the Show Bam Show. I am Sage, and here on the Show Bam Show, we celebrate mental health, what people are up to, and startup culture. And guess what? We have a very special guest, and instead of me introducing her today, I'm going to have her introduce herself because what she has to say is very cool. Take it away.
Oh, awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Christina, and I am a singer and a singing teacher. I'm also a meditation and mindfulness instructor. So I love to work with singers in a way that honors their whole experience. So the connection between their voice and their hearts and their minds and their bodies as well. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
That is really, really cool. And just looking at your Instagram, you said you were really into opera. Or what is your favorite type of music?
Yeah, so my education is in opera performance. I have my master's in opera performance. I love classical singing. I think it is a really beautiful way of using the voice. It's so powerful, and it's really exciting to learn. But I love all genres, to be honest. I love folk music. I love musical theater. So I sing in a lot of different ways, and I teach in a lot of different genres as well.
That is really, really cool. And basically to have that power behind you, like how did you learn all this? Like how sing was it? Did you just grow up singing or did you go to school or how did you figure all this out?
That's such a great question. So I was always very shy of singing growing up. I didn't think I was any good, but I very secretly loved to sing. And I remember stumbling upon an information packet for a local university music program. And they had a certificate program for people who didn't have any musical experience in voice lessons or anything like that. And so I decided to audition. I got a little karaoke CD. This was a long time ago, and went in and auditioned, and I was totally amazed that I got in. And that was like kind of my first exposure to classical singing and voice lessons. But as soon as I started, I had a phenomenal teacher and I just fell in love with it. And so I continued on to do my master's and to explore along the way lots of different genres, like I said. So yeah, it's something that I still love to do, to be honest. I think singing is a lifelong journey of discovery, and that's what makes it so rich and so satisfying.
Wow. And your passion just comes through the phone. Like I can just feel your energy and you just love talking about it. Like as soon as I start talking to you, I'm just like, yeah, she is in. Like hands down. What and one thing I was told from singers we've interviewed in the past is basically to sing like folk or opera or anything like that is you really have to have a really good vocal set. You can't just fake it. You have to actually hit those chords with like precision and like it must have taken a lot of dedication and work to like learn all that.
Yeah, it definitely does take a lot of practice. And I think I'm glad that you brought this up because I think a lot of people think that, in order to sing is kind of either you're talented or you're not. I personally hate the word talented. I think that everybody has a voice. And just like so many skills, like painting or dancing or being an athlete, if you train, you improve. You're actually training your muscles to do things. You're training your vocal folds to do things. You're understanding how to use your breath. So I think that everybody can sing. And for sure, it does take quite a bit of practice, especially if you want to become an opera singer. There's a lot of coordination that happens there as far as the instrument, but everybody can sing and everybody can learn how in their own way.
That is so motivational and I love it. And when your students first come to you, what do you work on? Like, do you start with songs or whatever they're interested in? Or do you just like practice like getting the voice where it needs to be? Or you said you like with soul and like mind, like what do you prefer? What do you tend to like teach on the first lesson to get people up
Oh,
to
that's
where
such an
they
awesome question. Yeah, that's such an awesome question. Yeah. So really, I really want to honor what the student wants to do. So the first question I'm going to ask is what they're passionate about. So what do they love about singing? What do they want to sing? What are some struggles they might be experiencing in their voice? And I think that every singer is completely unique. So I don't teach the same way for each person because all human beings are very different. So I really like to get to know the student in the first lesson to just to be really open, so that they're not feeling intimidated or anything like that, so that they can feel free to really share their voice. And I also make it really clear from the beginning that we'll learn technique. We'll learn how to use our voice in a way that is going to enable it to be free and powerful, to expand our range, all these different things. But I also love to really, for students who are interested, to help them to work with their minds. Because sometimes when we sing, because it's an act of vulnerability, our thoughts of self-doubt or worrying about looking silly or being afraid to take a risk musically or to be expressive, those things come up. So I try to really incorporate mindfulness to help people to feel more free to be themselves, to be authentic with their voice. And even when they're feeling those internal voices of self-doubt or self-criticism.
Wow, that is seriously incredible. And I love how, like, the way you go around doing that. And if people want to get in contact with you for lessons, anything, how can they reach out to you? What's the best way?
Yeah, so for a long time I've just been teaching privately under like Christina's Voice Studio, but I recently launched Mindful Sound Studio, and that's where I'm just being a lot more yeah. So I'm being a lot more intentional about sharing the way that I teach, which is to incorporate mindfulness and meditation, and so that people who are interested in that can come to me. And of course, not everybody is, and that's okay. But if people are interested in private lessons or one of the courses that I do online courses as well, they can go to www.mindfulsoundstudio.com, or they can go to my Instagram at Mindful Sound Studio as well.
Wow. And I'll be posting a link down below for anyone who wants to see this. And I'll get you to send it to me when you have a chance. No pressure. And that is so, so cool. And now, because you're opening the studio and everything, was that hard to open up, or like, were you just ready for it?
So I'm actually doing all of this online. So since it was interesting, before the pandemic, I was actually already teaching some students online. And then of course, when the pandemic hit, everybody was online.
Oh,
And I
wow.
really love that way of working. Connect. Yeah, I can connect with students from all over the world that way. For instance, I have a course coming up where I have somebody participating from Brazil, which is really cool, and from the United States. So yeah, so I'm teaching all of this work right now is online. And then once we're feeling a lot more secure and people are feeling a lot more comfortable to be singing in person, then that's something I'll explore in the future. But right now it's all online.
Wow, that is really, really cool. And I love how you had a pre-setup. And one thing I have to ask, because after looking at all your musical theater pictures, everything, what's the hardest thing you've ever sang in your life? Like, what's your hardest piece, do you think, that you've attempted?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. I think, interestingly enough, this is so random, but I sang this role in an opera called Albert Herring. And I sang the role of this mother. This was an operatic role. And she was always very angry, this character. She was always very worked up. So a lot of her music, her music was very intense. Yeah, a lot of her music was very intense, and I had to work on ways to keep that emotional tone from not taking up out or affect singing. When looking back, I think that was actually one of my more challenging roles. Yeah. I think.
I think she's gone. So thanks everyone for watching. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode of the Showbam Show. Bye.
Bamf Show.
Show Bamf Show.
Bamf Show.
Bamf Show.
Expanding our community.